Hello everyone, welcome to Apti Plus Academy for Civil Services. This is a video on daily news and editorial analysis, which I'll be covering from the Hindu and Indian Express, the most important news and editorial of the day that is relevant for both prelims and mains examination will be discussed in this session. Let's get started with news topic list. Today is 26th of May. The first news is National Achievement Survey 2021 report. We'll see the detail about this report. Second, ILO calls for frame policy to protect the LGBTIQ plus community. Third, center task panel to control cement inflation. We have seen the price of cement is rising. So in that context, what is the control measures government have taken? Fourth, inflation might have a physical impact. And last is an editorial, that is diversifying the plate for good. A brilliant editorial that will give you an insight about the anemia in our country and what are the future course of action that government has taken and what is the way forward that is essentially required. So this will give you an insights about the entire topic. Apart from the news and editorial discussion, at the end of this video, there will be MCQ based questions. These questions will be based on current affairs that will help you for the upcoming prelims examination. So without any further delay, let's get started. And if you're new to our channel, do not forget to subscribe Apti Plus Academy for Civil Services on YouTube. If you like this video, if you find this video informative and helpful, do not forget to press a like button. The first news of the day, that is National Achievement Survey 2021 report, something relevant for General Studies paper 2, that is issues related to development and management of education and human resources. Also, it is important for the other topic in the same GS2, that is government programs and policies and issues arising from a design and implementations. So the Department of School and Literacy, which is under the ambit of Ministry of Education, they have recently released the National Achievement Survey Report 2021. Again, something very important, this National Achievement Survey is also known as NAS. So what are the findings? We'll see the detail and how this particular survey helps the government to formulate the policies. So you can expect a question both in the prelims as well as in the mains examination from this section. So the report assesses the health of स्कूल एजुकेशन सिस्टम. हमारे इंडिया में जो स्कूल की एजुकेशन सिस्टम है वो किस तरह से काम कर रही है थ्रू आउट द कंट्री, एंड दिस सर्वे स्पेसिफिकली फोकस अपॉन द चिल्ड्रन लर्निंग competency for the classes of 3, 5, 8 and 10, right? So this is something again important. UPSC can give you a statement कि पूरे प्राइमरी या फिर सेकेंडरी लेवल पे की जाती है, बट कुछ स्पेसिफिक क्लासेस हैं जिन पे ही उनकी लर्निंग आउटकम और कंपिटेंसी को चेक किया जाता है. It will enable the analysis of result and remedial action at the appropriate level. और इस बार से पहले 2021 से पहले जो अभी रिपोर्ट रिलीज हुई है करेंटली, इससे पहले जो रिपोर्ट आई थी वो 2017 की थी. Now participants of the survey की अगर बात करें, around 34 lakh student and 1.8 lakh school have participated from 720 districts, both in rural as in urban areas, and they have participated in the NAS 2021. Findings क्या है सर्वे की? This finding would again something important for the mains examination. So the survey has recorded the perception of sample student on remote learning. खास करके कोविड के टाइम में जो ऑनलाइन लर्निंग थी, रिमोट लर्निंग थी, ऑनलाइन के क्लासेस थे, उसके क्या एक्सपीरियंस रहे बच्चों के. So it has found that during the pandemic 78% of the student find it burdensome and one had to make many assignments for them. So this was the problem that has arisen, and this is what the finding has to say. Now nearly the same percentage of student, that is 80%, also felt that learning was better in school compared to the online, right? क्योंकि वहाँ पे टीचर के साथ interactions हैं, peers के साथ interactions हैं, and even the in-hand experience of learning is better as compared to the online. So compared to online and offline, this is what the comparison through the survey has been make out. And as many as 24 students said, 24% of the student has said that they have no digital device at home. तो जो total population जितने इसमें की गई है सर्वे, उस टोटल सर्वे के पॉपुलेशन में 24% बच्चे ऐसे थे जिनके पास कोई डिजिटल एक्सेस ना तो कनेक्टिविटी की थी ना तो डिवाइस की थी. So you can count it on digital divide issues, right? And around 45% of the student found the experiences joyful, where 38% also said that they have difficulties in learning. So I will sum up all this data. मैं आपको एक लास्ट में एंड में एक चार्ट दूंगा जहाँ पे आपको ये सारी जो डेटा है एक जगह मिल जाएंगी. So this is what I was talking about. Online learning की अगर बात करें तो table lists the perceptions of the student on learning at the home during the pandemic. और according to the National Achievement Survey, this is what it has concluded. अगर joyful phone learning की बात करें इसमें शेयर से 45% है. Face difficulty in learning is 38%. No difference same as the school, ऐसा 50% लोगों का कहना है. Burdensome and lot of assignment was again a concern for 78% of student. No digital device at home, 24% of the student. And learning better in the school with peers is like the highest among the percentage, say that 80%. So most of them have preferred for the offline mode. And lot of time to learn the new things is 70%. So this is how the survey has come up with. Now, performance in subject की अगर बात करें, so the report also evaluated the competency of the student in subjects such as mathematics, languages, environmental studies for class 3 and 5, or language, mathematics, science and social sciences for class 8, language, mathematics, science and social sciences, and English for class 10. So these were the survey that was actually conducted as per the subject and as per the classes. And it was found that out of score 500, student across the various classes has performed better in languages but lagged behind the subject like mathematics or science. तो कंपेयर की जाए अगर मैथमेटिक्स और साइंस जैसे सब्जेक्ट्स में तो बच्चों ने लैंग्वेज के पेपर में अच्छा इंप्रूव किया. And it showed that across various subject and classes, ST, SC and OBC student have performed worst than compared to the general category student. The reason being the reservation policy is still continue in India, right? ये ऐसे कुछ कारण हैं जहाँ पे अभी भी रिजर्वेशन पॉलिसी कंटिन्यूड है, बिकॉज स्टिल वी फाइंड जो मेन स्ट्रीम जो मासेस है, जो एवरेज पीपल है ST, SC और OBC के, इवन they are not as competent as compared to the general categories. Again, this is a disputed fact कि general categories में भी कई लोग ऐसे जिनको financially ज़रूरत पड़ती है. I'm not getting into that detail, right? That is another topic of debate. But again, जो findings आई है उसके मुताबिक ये पता चला है कि comparatively general categories से जो ST, SC और OBC के बच्चे थे उनकी performance poor रही है. Now, advantages of NAS finding. So the National Achievement Survey 21 finding has said that it helped to diagnose the learning gap of the student. इस जो पूरी finding का purpose था ताकि एक gap find किया जा सके student के learning outcomes में और intervene किया जा सके that how we can have a education policy, teaching practices and learning outcomes. So the NAS finding help in the capacity building for teachers, official involved and the delivery of education, right? We know that the national education policy is already there for 2020. So many institutions are working in accordance with the national education policy or new education policy. तो उस context में इस तरह के findings काफ़ी relevant होंगे. If you are writing an answer in NAP 2020, तो आप इस findings के भी detailed report incorporate कर सकते हैं. Now it would be a rich repository of evidence and data points furthering that the scope of research and development can be there. The finding will help to compare the performance across the spectrum and across the population in order to find the desirable directions for improvements. Now about the National Achievement Survey 2021, ये survey है क्या, कैसे conduct की जाती है? So the National Achievement Survey is a nationally representative large-scale survey of student learning outcome by the Ministry of Education, Government of India, and NAS is a system level that reflects on effectiveness of the school education. और अगर बात करें National Education Council for Research and Training, that is NCRT, that has developed an assessment framework for gauging the competencies attained by the student vis-a-vis learning outcome. Or NAS 2021 intend to provide the information on what Indian student know, किस तरह की हर ग्रेडिंग सिस्टम में उनकी किस सब्जेक्ट में कितनी कमान रही है, क्या इंटरेस्ट है. सो अकॉर्डिंगली ग्रेड वाइज द सर्वे वॉज कंडक्टेड टू अंडरस्टैंड the entire nature of learning outcome nationally, state level, district level, or school type के accordingly. So this is how the survey has taken. It was finally concluded and the report was presented to the ministry. Now, the other news, ILO calls for frame policies to protect LGBT community, important for General Studies Paper 2, government policies and intervention for the development of various sectors, and issues arising from a design and implementations. So the International Labour Organization उन्होंने अपनी recent document release की है where it says that the inclusion of lesbian, gay, bisexual, transgender, intersex, and queer are the person that in the world of work that should recommended in the part of the countries. और यहाँ पे employees organization जो अपने representations में है इन लोगों को भी proper representation दे in terms of providing social protection program to remove barriers for the LGBT community and even the problem they are facing in a society. So basically अगर इसको sum up करें तो इंटरनेशनल लेबर ऑर्गेनाइजेशन चाहती है कि इन सारे कम्युनिटीज़ को भी एक प्रॉपर वर्क मेन स्ट्रीम वर्कफोर्स में जगह दी जाए ताकि वो जो सोशल टैबूज हैं उनको वो ख़त्म कर पाए और मेन स्ट्रीम के साथ जुड़ पाए. Now, ILO की क्या observations रही? International Labour Organization documented said that decriminalizing has an economic cost not just to the LGBT person but उनके families में भी इसके repercussions होती हैं and it led to the enterprises and national economic losses. And ILO has categorically said that it has added around the world where LGBTIQ plus person faces harassment, violence and discriminations on the basis of sex or orientations, gender identity, gender expression, and sex characteristics. So these are some of the observations that ILO has taken into consideration. Now, some recommendation that is coming from the ILO. They have asked the government to work with small and medium industries, association, sector union, and informal economy worker association to monitor the discriminations of informal economy and address the stigma and discrimination related to gender and sexual identity. Now, the International Labour Organization said that the national policy and labor laws review will allow the government to access the country work policy environment for the LGBT persons. Now, this will allow the identification of concrete steps for improving the legal and policy environment, ending discrimination exclusions, and complying with the international instruments. So this is what the recommendation has been given, and this is with all its letter and spirit has to be implemented by the government of India and many other government as well. Workplace diversity की बात की गई है. Starting only I have told you how they have recommended for the workplace diversity. So ILO has asked the trade unions to help LGBTIQ plus workers to organize and exercise their right for the freedom of associations. Right? Even the ILO has said that the worker association can ensure कि ये जो specific community है they are given representations in terms of employment, work policies and other tools. And studies have also shown that the diversity in the workspace, including the LGBTIQ plus community, is better for businesses as well. So this is with regards to the workplace diversity. Now, moving to the other news, Center tasked panel to control cement inflations, important for General Studies Paper 3, India economy and issues related to planning, mobilization, resource growth and development. So recently the central government has tasked a panel to examine the array of measures to ease the prices of cement and supply constraint जो कि इंडिया में भी प्रॉब्लम चल रही है in terms of the supply part, in terms of the productions, and the cement prices are soaring up. So the panel will review the possibility of using the sea route to transport cement unit in the southern India, basically that have the idle capacities. And the panel is headed by the cabinet secretary. So if it is being asked in any other competitive examination, you can mention the name of the person or you can say who is heading this particular committee. Cut on import duties की बात की गई है. The center has recently announced to reduce the import duties on select raw materials. कौन कौन से raw materials हैं? Steel, plastic, along with steps to improve the supply of cement that is expected to boost the sentiments of developers and end users. Now, beside this, a curtain exercise duty will also be there, जहाँ पे भी recent में petrol prices में reductions की गई हैं, diesel के prices में reductions हुई हैं. So this will help to check the inflation progressively. And owing the surge, the property prices, the real estate sectors has said that they have asked the central government to take necessary measures to reduce the burdens for the developer or real estate players. Now, how the transferring cost of burden is causing the price rise for the cement? The cement manufacturer has finally passed the burden of increased cost to end consumer by raising the price from March. So you can see these are the imported pecto, this blue in color, and the orange in color is the diesel prices, and this is the price variation which you can see. It's all India average retail cements per 50 kg बैग्स, जो इंडिया में पर एक सीमेंट की बैग्स होती है वो 50 kg की पैकिंग की जाती है, तो उसकी प्राइस आप देख सकते हैं हाउ इट हैज इंक्रीज, राइट. Now, inflation fight may have a physical impact. This is important for General Studies Paper 3, Indian Economy and Issues Related to Planning, Mobilization, Resource Growth and Development. So, according to the government sources, the center is not looking at a resorted to additional borrowing from the financial year for this particular financial year. और अगर बात करें even the center recent measure to check the runway of inflation on the supply side issues. Recently, we have seen to contain inflation, RBI has taken the measures where they have increased 40 basic points in the repo rate. So the center is monitoring the revenue streams amid the continuing tax buoyancy. जिस तरह से tax rate high हो रही है, यहाँ पे again renewed focus होगी disinvestment पे. And the government is also exploring the possibility of increasing its exposure to Russia's oil, and even जो discounted rates हैं या फिर जिस तरह से matter है उसको देखने की ज़रूरत है, because we are importing crude oil from Middle East, Arabian countries and from the Russians. Now, moving ahead, that is the excise duty cut implications. So the total revenue implications of the excise duty cut seen in 2.2 lakh crore a year, and this could coupled with an additional outgo that is 1.1 lakh crore rupees on discount of fertilizers subsidies that is expected to put pressures on government finances. Now, inflationary pressures की अगर बात करें, most of the inflation pressures जो है that are related to supply related constraint which are mostly arising because of the Russia's Ukraine crisis or war. The sources said that the government is going to continue with the rupee ruble payment arrangement with Russia, and even the government is also looking for ironing the supply chain and logistic related issues with regards to cement, which is again very important. This will reduce the cost of cement to a larger extent. Now, the Department of Investment and Public Asset Management, also known as DIPA, is currently restructuring the broad contours of the deal. Now, moving to the editorial of the day, that is Diversifying the Plates for Gun, a brilliant editorial that is written by Amit Berre and Smita Pramath. See, basically, they are from the Nutritional International in Gujarat, and this is important for General Studies Paper 2, welfare schemes for the vulnerable section of the population by the center and the states. So I'll be simplifying this editorial in some important subheads, that is promoting dietary diversity, focus on girls, impact of COVID-19 on nutrition, recommendations for the diets of adolescents girl, micronutrient deficiencies क्या है, and how government is countering this problem with its mission Poshan 2.2. बात करें, बहुत सारे ऐसे स्टडीज़ की गई है जहाँ ये पाया गया है दैट एडोलेसेंस गर्ल्स और या फिर एडोलेसेंस फेज ऑफ लाइफ एक ऐसी फेज़ है जो कि सबसे ज़्यादा न्यूट्रिशनल रिक्वायरमेंट की ज़रूरत पड़ती है. सो सेवरल स्टडीज़ हैव फाउंड दैट एडोलेसेंस इज अ स्टेज वेयर द डिमांड फॉर न्यूट्रिशन इज ऑन द हायर साइड. Even both adolescents, boys and girls, face emotional challenges during puberty, and girls face more psychological demands and thus require a higher intake of macro and micronutrients. Now, promoting dietary diversity, this is what should be there. So in comparison to boys, girls की जो susceptibility है एनीमिया के प्रति वो ज़्यादा है. तो गर्ल्स एनीमिया में जो numbers हैं 40% गर्ल एनीमिक होती हैं टोटल populations में, compared to boys which is only 18%, right? Anemia is very prevalent in our country. Government has taken a lot more steps, but again ground reality कुछ अभी भी खराब है. Now, this is the reason why promoting dietary diversity is crucial during the adolescence age, and ensuring appropriate nutritional for adolescence girl is a paramount considering the intergenerational impact on combating the malnutrition. Now, गर्ल्स के ऊपर फोकस करने की ज़रूरत है. जो एडोलेसेंस गर्ल हैं उन पे फोकस करने की ज़रूरत है. ये एविडेंट है नेशनल फैमिली हेल्थ सर्वे जो 5 अभी रिसेंट में जो डेटा रिलीज़ हुई है उनके मुताबिक जो एनीमिया के नंबर्स हैं एडोलेसेंस गर्ल में वो 5% तक इंक्रीज हुई है. 5% से इंक्रीज हुई है. इट वॉज अर्लियर 40% among all young children. Now it has again taking a toll of 5% extra compared to the previous survey. और कंप्रीहेंसिव नेशनल न्यूट्रिशन सर्वे 2019 की अगर बात करें, बिफोर द पेंडेमिक जो कंजम्पशन पैटर्न है वो कम हुई है. ऐसा नहीं है कि सिर्फ कोविड-19 के बाद चीज़ें खराब हुई है. कोविड-19 से पहले भी कंजम्पशन पैटर्न लो थी. And the fallout of the COVID-19 has further worsened the dietary diversity, especially for women, adolescents, and children. Now, looking into this infograph, globally, anemia affects half of the billion women on the reproductive age. And the problem with anemia is that it causes lethargy and fatigue in the body and impairs the health and quality life of our mothers. And it increases the risk of adverse maternal and neonatal outcomes, right? And it can have a negative impact on the development and learning outcome of children as well. Now you can look into these images. This will give you an idea about the prevalence of severity of anemia. So first looking at this image. So there's a bifurcation about the normal, mild, moderate and severe anemia. So you can see moderate is again on 140 and mild is 151. जो सीवियर है वो 85 के आसपास है, 24 के आसपास है, and normal is 85, right? And how prevalent anemia is there in India? तो अगर बात करें percentage increase from 2015 to 2019-20, we've seen the maximum number of anemia patients coming from Assam, followed by Mizoram, Jammu and Kashmir, Manipur, Gujarat, Nagaland, Tripura, Maharashtra, West Bengal, Telangana, and so on. You can pause this video and you can read out the content. ये जो findings ली गई है वो latest National Family Health Survey 5 के रिपोर्ट से ली गई. Now impacts of COVID-19 on nutrition. बात करें अगर एक इम्पॉर्टेंट फाइंडिंग की स्टडी की जो कि टाटा और कॉर्नेल इंस्टीट्यूट ऑफ एग्रीकल्चर एंड न्यूट्रिशन ने किया, यहाँ पे पाया गया दैट इंडिया हैज़ डिक्लाइन 42% ड्यूरिंग द कोविड-19 लॉकडाउन, जहाँ पे ये देखा गया है दैट फ्रूट्स, वेजिटेबल और एग्स के कंजम्पशन में 42% तक डिक्रीज हुई है. द लॉकडाउन हैज़ लेड टू द लॉस ऑफ मिड डे मील्स ऑल्सो, इंटरप्टेड द वीकली आयरन फॉलिक सप्लीमेंट जिसको वाइफ्स भी कहते हैं. ये इस प्रोग्राम की इम्प्लीमेंटेशन में भी डिले हुई हैं. एंड एडोलेसेंस इन द विंडो ऑफ अपॉर्चुनिटी वेयर दे कैन प्रैक्टिस द डाइटरी डाइवर्सिटी along with building the correct nutritional deficiencies replenish the body with the much needed requirement, especially for the girls. Now, क्या recommendations दी गई हैं for adolescent girl? So there are few recommendations which were suggested in this editorial as well. The first is to constitute a service delivery for weekly iron and folic acid. जो weekly iron और folic acid दी जाती हैं उनके डिलीवरी सिस्टम को हमें स्ट्रेंथन करने की ज़रूरत है. उसके जो कंप्लाइंसेस है डाइवर्सिटी वाइज उसे रीचेबिलिटी को बढ़ाने की ज़रूरत है. एंड दिस इंक्लूड द गिविंग फ्रूट्स एंड वेजिटेबल्स, सीजनल डाइट एंड इंक्लूजन ऑफ मिलेट्स इन द डाइट ऑफ द गर्ल, एडोलेसेंस गर्ल स्पेसिफिकली. Now further, the need to have a supplemented by the strength of nutritional counseling, जहाँ पे एडोलेसेंस गर्ल को कम्युनिटी वर्कर के थ्रू जो न्यूट्रिशनल बेनिफिट है और एनीमिया के जो नेगेटिव साइड इफेक्ट्स हैं वो बताने की ज़रूरत है, बिकॉज कम्युनिकेशन इज अगेन समथिंग विच इज़ वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट. सेकेंड रिकमेंडेशंस हैं जो सर्विस डिलीवरी प्लेटफॉर्म है दैट कैन ऑल्सो बी एडिंग इन दिस in terms of providing a proper plate, nutritional plate to the girls. And young girls need to be equipped with accurate informations about the adequate and appropriate diet so that they can act as a change for their families, community and peer group. Now, further, the recent amendment of increasing the legal age for women, that is from 18 to 21, is again something that will help to promote health and nutritional prosperity for the girl, where they will work more towards building their health. And marrying at the age at 18 or 15 16 लाइन चाइल्ड मैरिज के बाद भी बहुत सारे ऐसे प्रॉब्लम्स हुई हैं जो कि उनके फीटस में ट्रांसफर होती है और फीटल डेवलपमेंट में भी प्रॉब्लम्स आई हैं. सो द रीजन बीइंग टू हैव अ प्रॉपर ग्रोथ एंड न्यूट्रिशनल मेंटली बॉडीली ये सारी डेवलपमेंट्स ताकि हो, उस चीज़ के लिए गवर्नमेंट ने इस नंबर्स को भी आगे इंक्रीज करके 21st किया. Now, micronutrient deficiency की अगर बात करें, currently 80% of the adolescents have a hidden hunger due to micronutrient deficiency, and this trend is more prevalent in girls compared to the boys, and they are mostly deprived of the nutritional. खास करके जो micronutrients है वो deficiency ज़्यादा होती है. Now, there's a need to strengthen the policy initiatives to address the deficiency, not just iron and folic acid, but also the vitamin B12, vitamin D, and zinc. So these are the vitamins which is mostly deficient in adolescents girl. इसके लिए स्पेसिफिक टेस्ट होती है. आई पर्सनली रिकमेंड आप में से जो बच्चे फीमेल हैं या फिर आपके घर में अगर कोई एडोलेसेंस हैं तो अपनी विटामिन्स B12, विटामिन डी और जिंक के टेस्ट ज़रूर कराएं. दीज विल गिव यू एन आइडिया कि एक्चुअल में क्या है, और इसके साथ साथ हम आयरन के भी टेस्ट कराएंगे. दैट विल गिव यू क्या आपके परसेंटेज में कितनी कमी है या फिर किस तरह की आपकी बॉडी रिस्पॉन्स कर रही है. दिस विल हेल्प यू टू अंडरस्टैंड द फंक्शनिंग ऑफ योर बॉडी. वंस हर एक साल में एक बार इस तरह के टेस्ट ज़रूर होने चाहिए. Now, government has come up with Mission Poshan 2.0. Poshan Abhiyan now is Mission 2.0 that has strongly integrated the further undernutrition and anemia among women, girls, and children. However, the design needs to be inclusive and growing the risk of non-communicable disease and obesity among the adolescents. So we have to work in a manner so that we can conclusively develop ambience, or you can say the way where adolescents girls are having their full potential development with all nutritional security, right? तो nutritional security ऐसी हो जो उनके holistic development को मदद करे. Now, moving to the MCQ questions of the day. Before I proceed, just to tell you the answers of yesterday questions. For first question, the correct option is C. For second question, also the correct option is C. Today's MCQ for practice: New START nuclear treaty is recently seen in the news is between which among the following countries? India, Japan, India, Russia, USA and Russia, and Japan or Russia. आपको पता करना है कि करेक्ट ऑप्शन कौन से है. Second, National Center for Sustainable Coastal Management is located at New Delhi, Chennai, Gurugram or Hyderabad. So do check it out for the correct options. This was all about for the daily news and editorial analysis followed by the MCQ questions. If you have any other concern, you can let me know. I'll be more than happy to assist you. For time being, I'm signing off. Thank you so much for watching this video.